Hi, I'm John Gillum, and I'm the creator of the Community Studio, where we bring the art studio to your communities. Watch that color go.
Have you ever wanted to experience creating fine art? John Gillum has developed a program for senior citizens to enjoy painting with watercolors, and he wants to share it with you. No matter what your art background is, sit back and enjoy John's simple method of teaching the art of watercolors. And at the conclusion of this lesson, you can find out more on how to order all the supplies you need to follow along with John on future episodes and begin your art journey. Now here's John with today's lesson.
Welcome to the Community Studio. Today we're going to be painting some butterflies. I'm going to show you 3 different techniques on our butterflies today. And don't worry about a thing. There's no right or wrong. If you go outside the line, perfectly acceptable, okay? So here we go. I have my water here, and you might wonder what this little top is for. It's so that I don't accidentally drink out of it. Okay, I have my coffee right here. So I can drink out of this one, and I won't be able to drink out of that one. So I'm very happy about that, although it does not stop me from putting my brush right into my coffee. So I'll have to make sure that that's well hidden. So we have our colors here. And your activity coordinator has been nice enough to put them out for us. You'll notice that there's not a whole lot of paint on here. And the reason there's not a whole lot of paint on there is because it's watercolor, and we use a lot more water than we do with pigment or paint. Okay, so that's a good thing. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you 3 different techniques with the 3 different butterflies. Now the first technique is what we call a wet on wet. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm going to wet my butterfly, just using plain water without any color in it. Okay? So when we're done here, all we have is a wet butterfly. Now, the second part of this, we want to decide what color we're going to use. So I'm going to use a little bit of my orange, put a little bit of pigment, and you'll see I use a lot of water here. And once I put my pigment on my butterfly, do you see how it runs? Okay, so I can put a little color. If I want to wash out my color and use a different color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swirl, and then I'm just going to put my brush on my napkin until I don't have any more of that orange coming off of there. That's pretty good. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use a little bit of yellow. And on my butterfly, I'm going to add a little bit of that yellow. Okay, now I went out of the line right there, but I'm okay. And a little bit more yellow at the top. Do I have a plan for this? Absolutely not. I'm just working the way I like to work and using the colors that I want to see today. Okay. Okay. So I have a butterfly here that where we have painted wet on wet, and the paint spreads out on that wet paper. I love this word, it's serendipity. It goes where it wants to go, it is what it is. So we have that butterfly, we're going to let it dry while we wait for our friends to finish up, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Welcome back. I hope you had fun with your first butterfly. We're going to start on our second butterfly. We're going to use the same technique. We're going to wet our butterfly with just the water. And there is a method for my madness here. Let's use a different color for this butterfly. I'm going to use some blue, I think. I like some of those bright blue butterflies. And I'm just going to color my top wing. Okay. Now, if you get a little runner like that, you simply dry off your brush and put your brush. You see how that sucks up the water like that? I dry out my brush, put it to the page, and it will suck up all that wet. Okay, now we have some nice blue on there. Again, I went outside the line of where I would normally say, oh no, but I'm not worried. And you shouldn't be either, okay? So have fun with it. We're doing our second butterfly, and I'll see you in a few minutes. So on this butterfly, we're not going to wet it first. We're going to simply take what colors we want. We're going to wet our brush. We're going to put our water in with our color. We're going to make a nice little puddle, right? So we have some colored water there that we're going to be using. Remember, if you're using too much paint and not enough water, you'll see that thickness on your paper. You might even see some white dots on there because it's not covering the paper. You need to make sure you're using enough water to be successful. So when I take my paintbrush, you'll notice that the color will stay where I put my paintbrush. Unless I have too much water on there, then it might drip a little bit. When I use this technique, you'll see that it doesn't flow like the first two butterflies did. It's staying right where I put that color. So I can decide, okay, this color is going to go exactly where I have it. This technique is called wet on dry, where this is wet on wet. I know, very technical. And I can just change my colors whenever I feel like it. Now, if you touch other colors that are still wet, you'll see they'll run into each other. So we'll want to dry our brush off and just suck that right off. So we'll just come down here and quickly take care of my red. I'll use a little bit of purple up here just to get those edges. Okay. Now you can start on your butterfly. Choose a couple colors that you love. Have fun with it. Remember, our butterfly is dry. Then we're going to use a wet brush with some of our paints, and we can use very detailed strokes for this. So have fun, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. Now the next step, we've done our wet on wet, we've done another wet on wet, and then we did a dry, a wet on to dry. So the next thing we want to do is we want to put a wet brush onto a dry butterfly that has already been painted. Now the reason for this technique is that when you are doing other watercolors, you'll want to use your wet on wet technique for maybe a fuzzy background where that paint just kind of spreads out. Then, once it dries, we do a little bit more detail on top of it so that we can control what we're doing. So if we're looking at maybe a forest and the leaves back in the background are kind of fuzzy, but we're looking at a tree that maybe is 2 feet from us and we want to get some real detail in there, just like we can see normally. This is how we achieve that. So I want you to take one of your 2 butterflies that is dry that you think might need some more detail. I'm going to choose my blue one here, and I'm simply going to take some purple and I'm going to paint right on top of it to show you how the purple will stay on the page. There we go. And I'm just going to take a couple just like this. And if I want it a little bit darker, I can use a little bit more pigment. I can put it on now, or I can wait till it dries again and put another coat on. So now that we have our second coat, we can even combine the colors a little bit on here. And I'm letting them mix a little bit on the page as I go. Just remember, if you do a brush stroke that you don't like, it's not the end of the world. Add another brush stroke later. We're in the business of making lemonade. Okay. Okay, so we've finished making our final butterfly. We're going to let them dry for just a second, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now that we're ready and our butterflies are dried, I'd like you to pick out your favorite butterfly. Okay, the one with the most vibrant colors. What we're going to do now is, your activity coordinator will help you. We're going to cut out our butterfly. So we're going to cut out your favorite. Later on, if we have time, maybe you'll want to cut out your other two. But right now, everybody gets one cut out. So we're going to start with this butterfly. You'll notice that I went outside the lines here and outside the lines. We're okay. Everything we do, there's a reason for it. Like I said, we're going to make lemonade, lots of lemonade. So we're going to cut these out. I'm going to take the wing close to the body there, but not through the body. And I'm going to do the other ones. Just coming around. I'm going to go to his little head there, but I'm not going to go through his head. And then he's got a little antenna there. I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to go around his head and pull that out. I'm going to go into his antenna just a little bit. And if I can, I want to keep that antenna. There we go. We got him. So I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to make his antenna here. Now this might be tricky, and if you cut off his antenna, don't worry about it. It's okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bend his little body down. And on the other side, I'm going to push him a little forward and bring up his wings. And I'm going to curl his little back wings here. So now we have a nice little three-dimensional butterfly. There you go. You can use these for other projects. If your community wants to make a wreath and put all of your butterflies together, it really makes a beautiful thing. You can outline frames, many different ideas. Take a look at my friends, their butterflies, how they've succeeded. It may give you ideas for your own. And if you can, send me a picture. I'd love to see what you do. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project. There's more to come, and I hope to see you again.
Thanks for watching. John has completed a complete kit for you to begin your watercolor journey with John Gilham's Community Studio. Simply go online to thecommunitystudio.org and order your supplies now. You'll receive a complete kit that will have everything you need for 8 lessons, and it will be shipped directly to your home. We hope you enjoyed today's lesson with John, and that you'll like and subscribe to this channel so you'll be notified when more lessons become available. Thanks for watching.